Hey guys, welcome back to Rusty Guns. So today, doing a little gun cleaning. I've been doing that for a day or two, cleaning up different guns. But mainly, I want to talk to you guys about buying guns while you're on a budget. Now, that's not to be confused with the videos you see of people, the top 5 budget guns, things like that. This is simply about buying guns if you are on a budget. And the reason I want to talk about that is because a lot of people tend to think that if you're on a budget you can't afford nice guns or expensive guns and things like that. I've got a wide variety of guns, and guns that can cost anywhere from $100 to a couple $100 all the way up to $1,500 guns that I own. And I can honestly say that I have bought every single gun I own in cash. I've never, put anything on credit or anything like that, which I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes people can make is buying guns on credit, putting a gun on a credit card or something. I don't recommend anybody ever do that. There's no reason to go in debt in order to buy a gun. Now, I will say I should put one exception to that, and that would be, if you don't own a gun already, and maybe you're in a situation where, maybe you're a woman or even a guy, and you have an ex or something like that is, a very threatening person or something, and you honestly believe that you need a gun for protection, but you don't have the money, on hand to go buy one, then I would say, yeah, it would, do what you have to do to purchase that firearm, so if you have to buy it on credit, for something like that, then yes. But other than that, I don't think there's a real reason to ever, put a gun on a credit card and actually end up putting yourself in debt to buy a gun. Simply saving the money, if you're on that budget, you have money allocated out for different things, and to set aside a little bit, out of the paychecks in order to buy your guns, or to have a better gun collection or something, if that's what you're wanting. Because I look at it like, if you were to save $20 every couple of weeks, every 2 weeks out of your paycheck for guns, maybe there's a gun that you're wanting to buy, then that's $80 a month, and you look at it by the end of the year, you're looking at pretty close to $1,000 to buy a gun with, and you can get a very nice gun. Now, of course, people's first thing they say is, well, I gotta wait a whole year to get my gun. Well, if you think about it, every year companies come out with newer guns all the time, so maybe saving that money does a couple of things. Maybe by that next year you find something else better that you like. Maybe the gun that you were going to buy, they find some flaws in the gun, and by waiting and taking that little bit of time, you save yourself from buying a gun that has some kind of a defect that you'd be better off not having. So I think sometimes waiting and waiting on that gun and helps out a lot, and you're going to purchase the gun that you really do want. Now, another way you can buy guns that you're wanting, or being able to buy guns while you're on a budget, is going to pawn shops to purchase your guns, or purchase a gun. Now, of course, I know some people are going to say, well, I don't want to go to a pawn shop, they're going to have cheap cruddy guns. That's absolutely not the case. There are numerous people that end up pawning guns or selling guns to pawn shops because they're just simply in need of the money. I know several people that have bought guns brand new, and then a month or two later, a car breaks down or something, and they're needing cash, and they go and they take their guns to the pawn shop. So you can oftentimes find really nice guns at a pawn shop and get them at a cheaper price than you would if you went to the gun store and bought them brand new from the gun store. So do not rule out pawn shops when purchasing your firearms. Go to the pawn shop and check them out. Now, if you don't know much about firearms and you're going to a pawn shop or someplace to buy a gun, take somebody with you that is knowledgeable about them and can show you what to look for, and make sure that you're getting the best deal for your money. Another thing that you can do is constantly looking for the sales and stuff. Just because you have the money to go buy that gun right then and there, check around and see if anybody's having specials on the guns or anything like that. Because a lot of times you could buy a gun and then just a couple of weeks later, or maybe even the next day, that gun or a different gun goes on sale, and you could have ended up getting maybe a better quality gun for what you just spent. So make sure you check around. Don't just automatically, oh, I got my $500, I'm going to go buy this gun that I wanted. Check around, because you might be able to get a really good deal on something else that is as good or better quality. Another thing that you want to make sure you do is check reviews. Always make sure that you're checking reviews on guns to ensure that you're getting the best value. You don't want to go spending a lot of money on a gun that's maybe gotten some bad reviews or is not a very good purchase, whatever. So just be sure that you're checking the reviews and doing the research on any gun that you plan on purchasing. So what are some good guns to buy if you are on a budget? You can buy virtually anything when you're on a budget. It's all a matter of just what you're wanting, and having the patience to wait. I think that's probably the part that gets most people. They get impatient when they purchase guns, and collecting guns or getting into guns can be very expensive, and it has some drawbacks. One of those drawbacks is typically when you get a brand new gun, you go out, you shoot that gun, and you have fun, and you're having a blast for about a week or a month or so, and then all of a sudden you're wanting another gun, and so you haven't really used the one that you just bought very much, but then you end up wanting another gun. But the actual kind of guns, I would always recommend people get the main three guns to start off with. Make sure you buy a handgun, a shotgun, and a rifle. Those are the three main guns that I think should be in every American's home. So that's what I would recommend if you're going to start off buying guns while you're on a budget, to look into those three guns: a handgun, a shotgun, and a rifle. And check the reviews, make sure you're getting a good quality. Don't be afraid to go to the pawn shop and find that gun, because you might find it at the pawn shop cheaper than you find it at the gun store. And when you go anywhere, if you're not very knowledgeable about firearms, take somebody who is. If you're one of those people that's going with someone, try not to impose your ideas too much on them. Let them kind of decide for themselves what kind of gun they want, and give them good advice, but don't try to sway their opinion on what they want, because a gun that I like and works well for me will not work for somebody else. They might not like it, or it might not work as well for them as it works for me. So be aware of that. you know, I would recommend that if you're going out to buy a gun, and you're on that budget and you're going to spend that money to go buy a gun, don't just go to the gun store and buy the gun. If you have a gun store nearby that has an indoor gun range and rents guns, rent the gun that you're planning on buying, and shoot it. I mean, I can't say that enough, because if you're not well versed, or you don't know how the gun typically shoots, or you don't know somebody who has the gun and can shoot one, there's no substitute for getting to actually shoot the gun, know how it feels, and then find out whether you like it or not. Because there's no point in spending $500 or, you know, on a gun, on like a handgun or something, and then find out you don't even like it. You know, because then it's too late. You've already bought the gun, and then guess what? You're going to be one of those people taking the gun to the pawn shop after you just bought it brand new and selling it for next to nothing, and you know, you've lost out on money. So, you know, just make sure that you're using your head, you're spending your money wisely, because you know it is your money, and you know you want to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck. So that's about all I got for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it made some sense to you. Sorry if I was rambling a little bit while I was doing this, you know, cleaning the gun and stuff. I can kind of get off track because I'm trying to do 3 things all at the same time. But, you know, hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care. I'll see you next time.